Julian Alvarez's future reaches breaking point as Atletico chiefs hold emergency meeting amid Barcelona interest. Julian Alvarez's situation at Atletico Madrid appears to have reached a critical point. According to journalist Jordi Hota, an emergency meeting is currently taking place in Madrid involving Atletico CEO Miguel Angel Gil Marin, manager Diego Simeone, and sporting director Mateu Alemany, with the future of the Argentine forward set to be a major subject of discussion. Alvarez's relationship with Atletico fans has deteriorated sharply in recent days, with the Villarreal match becoming another uncomfortable chapter in the story. The forward has been strongly linked with the move away and has made no secret of his desire to play for Barcelona. That stance has created a difficult situation for Atletico, particularly with the transfer window entering its final stage. For the first time, the club now appeared to be seriously confronting the possibility that the Julian Alvarez transfer could become unavoidable. Atletico Madrid moved to address Alvarez's situation. The Argentine situation had already been tense, but the events during and after Atletico's match against Villarreal brought the issue into the spotlight. The forward received a hostile reaction from sections of the Atletico support, which showed the frustration that has developed around his future and his wish to leave the club. For Alvarez and those close to him, the situation has become increasingly difficult, as the player is understood to have maintained a firm preference for Barcelona despite receiving interest from elsewhere. Notably, the likes of Gil Marin, Simeone, and Alemany are among the most influential figures when it comes to Atletico's sporting direction. Hence, their involvement suggests that the club need clarity, particularly if a major sale is being considered before the deadline. Atletico have spent much of the window resisting the idea of strengthening a direct domestic rival, but the atmosphere and the uncertainty over the forward's future may now be forcing a rethink. Arsenal in the picture, but Alvarez wants Barcelona. At present, Arsenal remain one of the clubs capable of making the financial side of a deal work. AS previously reported, Atletico Madrid are open to facilitating a move to the Premier League, with the Gunners among the leading candidates. As such, the Spanish club is seeking around €150 million for the Argentine. Alvarez, however, has remained reluctant to open the door to a move to England despite significant interest, and that is the central complication for Atletico Madrid. The club may have financial options, but the player's preference appears to point towards Barcelona instead. Barcelona, meanwhile, have been watching developments closely. The Blaugrana's interest is clear, but completing a deal would depend on Atletico becoming genuinely willing to negotiate with a direct rival and on Barcelona finding a way to structure a financially viable operation. Barcelona rule out move for €50 million rated Bundesliga striker due to salary demands during FC Barcelona's search for a new number 9. Sergio Guirassy has repeatedly been mentioned as a potential target. While the Catalans continue to wait for their priority target, Atletico Madrid's Julian Alvarez, alternatives are being explored by the sporting department led by Deco. And Guirassy is a name that has been on the table at the Catalan club for some time now. Inquiry made, but move ruled out. Now, according to Bild, hat-tip Mundo Deportivo, Barcelona's sporting department recently asked Borussia Dortmund about the Guinean striker. His release clause is reportedly around €50 million, although that figure applies only to 7 major European clubs, with Barca among them. However, his high salary quickly made the deal unattractive. The report claims that Guirassy earns around €10 million per year, a figure well outside Barcelona's current wage structure. Guirassy joined Dortmund from Stuttgart in 2024 and is under contract until 2028. He was one of the German club's standout performers last season, finishing with 22 goals and 6 assists in 46 appearances. He also started in Dortmund's 2-1 defeat to Bayern Munich in the German Super Cup this weekend. Dortmund close in on Hector Fort. The same report claims that Dortmund are close to signing a Barca youngster in Hector Fort. Representatives from the German club traveled to Barcelona in an attempt to accelerate negotiations. The La Liga champions hope to receive more than €10 million for the academy graduate. The potential deal for Fort could theoretically have helped reduce the cost of bringing Guirassy to Barcelona. However, the striker's salary was ultimately the decisive obstacle, ruling out the operation regardless of the possibility of including Fort in the negotiations. With 8 days remaining before the transfer window closes, Deco continues searching for a number 9 to complete Flick's squad. Julian Alvarez continues to remain the priority, with his situation at Atletico Madrid getting untenable. However, Los Rojiblancos continue to refuse to sell him to Barcelona, would prefer to see him join Arsenal. With other names like the aforementioned Guirassy and Lautaro Martinez also ruled out, it remains to be seen who Barcelona move for. If Alvarez does not arrive, Barcelona midfielder likely to miss Athletic Club clash will return versus Rayo Vallecano, much to the relief of FC Barcelona. Gavi's injury scare against Elche has turned out to be nothing more than a fright. An MRI scan carried out this morning at the Ciutat Esportiva ruled out any significant damage to his right knee. The club's official medical report was reassuring, describing the issue simply as a contusion. Gavi received a blow to his right knee during yesterday's match. The medical tests carried out this morning have confirmed that it is only a contusion, the official statement read. His return to training is expected in a short time. Gavi to miss Athletic Club clash. Even though Barcelona insisted in their statement that Gavi will resume normal training soon, the team's next game might come too fast for the La Masia graduate. Indeed, according to Javi Miguel Alves, the midfielder is expected to miss Thursday's match against Athletic Club. But there is optimism that he will be ready and available again for next Monday's game against Rayo Vallecano. It is welcome news for the Barcelona dressing room, which feared the worst when the Spain international suddenly left the pitch looking concerned in the 44th minute after suffering a blow to his knee.
This is why the next few days could be extremely important. A formal proposal from United could completely change the situation. If no serious offer arrives, Balde could remain at Barcelona and attempt to rebuild his relationship with Flick. Barcelona's other transfer decisions. Balde is not the only Barcelona player whose future is being discussed. The Catalan club have been making several changes to their squad this summer. They have already brought in major reinforcements, while other players have been allowed to leave or are being encouraged to find new clubs. Barcelona are also still working on their attacking options after the departures of Robert Lewandowski and Ferran Torres. The club's transfer strategy therefore involves both buying and selling. If Balde leaves, the money generated could potentially help Barcelona address another position. That makes his situation even more important. My view. Personally, I think Alejandro Balde would be a very interesting signing for Manchester United. At 22, he already has considerable experience with Barcelona and has played at a very high level. He has speed, technical quality, and attacking ability. Those characteristics could make him a strong fit for the Premier League. However, United should not overpay simply because Barcelona are a massive club. If the reported €45 million valuation is accurate, Manchester United would need to carefully consider whether Balde is worth that investment and whether his fitness and consistency justify the fee. For Barcelona, selling him would also be a gamble. They could receive significant money, but they would be losing a young player who still has enormous potential. So this is not a straightforward transfer. It is a decision that could benefit both clubs, but only if the financial and sporting conditions are right. Conclusion. So, Barcelona have reportedly placed a €45 million valuation on Alejandro Balde, while Manchester United continue to monitor the situation. The player's absence from Barcelona's opening La Liga match, combined with Hansi Flick's comments about his lack of focus, has only increased speculation. Balde is still young, talented and experienced, but his future at Camp Nou now appears less certain than it did before. For Manchester United, this could represent an opportunity to sign a dynamic left-back who still has years of development ahead of him. For Barcelona, however, the question is whether €45 million is enough to justify losing one of their promising defenders. And for Balde himself, everything may come down to one question. Does he want to fight for his place at Barcelona, or is he ready for a new challenge at Manchester United? The coming days could provide the answer. If Manchester United make a serious offer, this story could move very quickly. And if Barcelona decide that the money is too attractive to reject, we could potentially see Alejandro Balde become the latest Barcelona player to make the move to Old Trafford. For now, nothing is officially done. But with the transfer window approaching its deadline, Alejandro Balde's future is certainly one of the Barcelona stories worth watching. If you enjoyed this update, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications and stay with us for the latest Barcelona and Manchester United transfer news.